Alright, so we got this blind here that's not working properly. You can wind her up, but it just drops down. So you're going to figure out how to fix it. Well, actually we know how to fix it. So this mechanism here needs to be removed. To remove that, you need to drill out the two rivets. There's one on either side. And then unscrew all the bolts. Depends on who's installed it, but there's about 5 screws. Alright, now that we've unscrewed it, we've got to drill the 2 rivets out. We've got a 4 mil drill bit. Alright, so I'll drill it until the collar breaks off. Alright, I've got the collar off now. And then I usually have to drill a little bit more just so the shaft doesn't interfere. So this whole mechanism should slide inside. Oh, there you go. Alright, so it's slid in, and you can pull it out. And the other side's just sitting in a bearing, so you can pull that out. Alright. You can slip that whole mechanism out. And that's what we need to pull apart. The other side's got just a little roller bearing, ball bearing. They can pop out. And we'll slap some grease in it. Feels like shit, but be right with some grease in it. Alright, so here's the mechanism. To get it apart, there's a circlip on the top. You just pop it out with a little screwdriver. You can find the start of it. There it is. Right, so we got the circlip off, and then there's 2 washers on the top. There's this real thin one, and then there's this keyed one. Right. Okay, now the assembly should be able to come apart. You want to make sure that you know which orientation this ratcheting mechanism is in. Right. So there should be 3 springs. Right, and then this ratcheting mechanism comes off, and then there's another ratcheting mechanism inside. And this is what I think's gone wrong. And yeah, you can see the grease is all dried up, it's gunked up. So what we're going to have to do now is clean all this shit out. And then put some fresh grease in it, and it should be right. Spring mechanism out, it's really gunked up. This is what's meant to hold it from dropping when you have it at partial heights and things. So then there's another washer inside. Alright, and then usually you can't get this off unless you've got these 2 pins out. So we'll have to start cleaning it to get that out. Okay, so we'll head outside and blast it with some brake clean. Alright, so we're outside now. We've got some brake clean. Just going to wear gloves because it's quite rough on your hands. We've also got a wire brush to help with cleaning, and some plastic containers to catch all the shit. Alright, so we'll first try to get these 2 pins out so we can get the mechanism disassembled a bit better. You could probably use WD-40 for this, but brake clean usually works a bit better to get the gunk off. It's cheaper. See that? Right, we'll try and get it apart. There we go. Oh yeah, what we should have made note of is the orientation. Alright, because that's important when you reassemble it. Alright, so give it a bit of a spray and then scrub it with our brush. Well, this is as far as you can disassemble it. You can't get this, forgot which one is this, a pinion, I think. You can't get that out. It's like a sealed kind of unit. So what we're going to do a bit later is we'll just spray some silicone spray around and turn it a bit so it's a bit smoother, but it doesn't really feel that bad anyway. That's not really where you get issues. It's mainly that channel in there gets gunked up and dried out, and then the teeth jam, which allows the whole shut to just fall down. Now I just need to clean the inside of that channel, whatever you call it. So I usually just use a screwdriver to scratch all the hard stuff off, and then go through with a bit of paper towel to make sure it's clean. Right, that's probably fair enough. Alright, so we've scrubbed the stuff with the wire brush. Now we're just going to dry it all off with the paper towels and reassemble it with some lube. Alright, so we drilled out the remnants of the rivets. So now we can get a fresh rivet in. Okay, and everything's dry and clean, so we can reassemble. So we start with the ring gear thing. We'll just lather it in grease. Probably not the best way to do it, but it's quick like that. Right, feels right. Now, we can't really get grease into where the shaft is, so we're just going to spray some silicone lube in through the end. And then we'll cycle it a few times. Feels pretty good. Alright, so probably didn't see before, but there's a washer that goes on this gear. It was caked on with dry grease. So I'll just lube this up a little bit and slap that on as well. Right. Now you want to get some lube into that channel where the teeth go in. What I'll do is just shove some grease there and then push it through with one of the teeth, and then cycle it a bit to move it around. Feels pretty good. Right, now I need to remember the orientation. So from memory, it's meant to be able to turn clockwise, which means that the tooth should be in this orientation. So it bites in that direction. That allows the ratcheting thing to move that, to rotate around that way. So I forgot to put the spring in. I need the spring. I'll put the spring in. 2 teeth. So I'll put some lube on the inner surface. This and the mating surfaces. So have to softly push in the 2 teeth to get the, make sure that the orientation is still correct. Also, yes, that's there you go. Now you can test it. So it should turn clockwise and then not want to turn easily anti-clockwise. So it turns clockwise and we want to turn anti-clockwise. But when you, so you can rotate it up, so that's when the blind goes up, and then for the blind to go down, you actually have to force the spring open. But you can apply a lot more force with the handle, and that will allow it to rotate anti-clockwise. Spring ratcheting mechanism. It has this other style washer. So we'll slap some grease in here. Alright, now that can just be slapped on top like that. And it should feel nice, smooth. Should hear the ratcheting. And it still shouldn't turn anti-clockwise. Okay, next step is to put the secondary ratcheting mechanism back on. So again, just slap some lube on it. And from memory, it was in that orientation. I'll stick some more lube on the shaft. And then stick the 3 springs in. Okay, I'll stick some lube around here as well. Maybe it's easier. Yeah, I'll just stick some on the edge. And it will smear itself in. Alright. You stop it though. Yep. So the keyed washer goes first. Then the thin washer. And then the circlet. Alright. Looks like that's back together. Yeah, so it should turn nice and smoothly clockwise, and then you shouldn't be able to easily turn it back anti-clockwise. Yeah. Cool. So that's lubed and ready to go back in. Alright, so we got the cleaned and lubed up mechanism back, and we've packed the bearing with a bit of grease, and we sprayed it with some silicone. It'll be alright. We haven't really cleaned it that much, but it's good enough. So pop that back in. Alright, so it's keyed. It can only go in one way. It's got the slot here, and then there'll be a lump inside this that lines up with, so I can see it's like that. Alright, so we'll shove that in. Okay, now we pop the other side with the bearing in first. Okay. That allows us to push this side in and then slip the mechanism back out. So we'll rotate it to roughly in the position it needs to be. And we need to put all the screws in first before we rivet the mechanism to the roller. Alright, so this is the painful bit. Oh shit. So now we've got those 5 screws in. We need to position this. Oh Jesus, it's not even position correct. Oh, that's the wrong hole. Okay, that makes sense. So, a shabby riveting. I think this is a 4mm rivet. 4mm or 3mm? I don't know, one of the two. Alright, that's one. And the other side. Should line up easy. There you go. Alright, so we can test it now. We'll just shove the stick back in. See if it's working as expected. So we can first test that the outer ratcheting mechanism is working. Yeah, you can hear it's clicking. Okay, we can hear the clicking from the other ratcheting mechanism. So it won't roll down midway. You have to actually manually force it down. So it's feeling a lot better. Goes up nice and smooth. Goes down nice and smooth. Right, now I just slap the cover on. So we just put the cover back on. Now we can thread the stick into the hole. Bit of a pain in the ass. There you go. Oh, well, I thought I had it. There you go. Okay, and I just have to put the final screws in. Alright, so it's done. Goes up nice and easy. Goes down, stops where you want it. And then yeah, won't let you go too far. Right.